or both parents who are responsible for your birth were the ones who raised you, raise your hand. If you still rely on those parents today for guidance and support, raise your hand again. Most of us grew up in a home with either one or both parents who were responsible for our birth, and we still rely on those parents today for support and guidance. Not everyone is that fortunate. Adoption is something that I hold very close to my heart because I myself someday hope to adopt. Today I want to share with you about adoption. I'd like to tell you what adoption is and answer a few common questions for you. I'd also like to tell you about some of the struggles that waiting children face and some of the struggles that children who are never adopted face. Adoption is when a person who is not related to you by blood takes legal right and responsibility for that person. I know some of you may know very little about adoption, so I'd like to start by answering a few common questions for you. Many people ask, how much does adoption cost? According to the Child Welfare Gateway, adoption can cost as little as nothing or be more than $50,000. Another common question is, are only babies waiting to be adopted? According to childrensrights.org, the average age of a child waiting to be adopted is 9 years old. Now that I've shared with you a little bit about adoption, I'd like to tell you about some of the struggles that waiting children face. In the United States, nearly 400,000 children are living without permanent families. Imagine as a 9-year-old child not knowing if the home that you live in today will be the home that you live in tomorrow, and not knowing if the bed that you sleep in tonight will be the bed that you sleep in tomorrow night, and not having someone to call mom or dad. This is a reality for many children. Approximately 7,000 children were adopted in 2012 based on U.S. State Department records. This may seem like a substantial amount, but in reality it's a very small percentage of those who are waiting to be adopted. According to the CCA Institute, nearly 400,000 children are living without permanent families. Of those 400,000 children, 100,000 are available for adoption. Of those 100,000, nearly 32,000 will wait 3 or more years before they are adopted, and 50% of those 32,000 will be placed 3 or more times, and many will attend 5 or more schools. As a result, these children will be separated from siblings, lose relationships, and fall behind educationally. Now that I've shared with you some of the struggles that children who are waiting for adoption face, I'd like to tell you of some of the unfortunate circumstances that children who are never adopted face. Between the ages of 18 and 21, children who are not adopted age out of the system without the emotional or financial support that is needed to succeed. At the age of 18, most of us were planning our futures, picking colleges, and selecting jobs, and we had our family and our friends to support us and guide us along the way. However, for those who age out of the system, they're not so fortunate. Based on a report by the CCA Institute, in 2012, nearly 24,000 youth aged out of the foster care system. Of those 24,000, 40% ended up homeless, 60% of men convicted of crime, and 50% were unemployed. But the struggles don't end there for those who age out of the foster care system. 75% of women and 33% of men rely on government assistance to meet their basic needs. Many of those who age out have no high school diploma and no GED, and 50% of those are involved in substance abuse, and many women end up pregnant. Of those 24,000 youth that age out of the foster care system, many have no chance at a productive future. Today I have shared with you about some of the struggles that waiting children face and some of the struggles that children face who are never adopted. Today you should have learned what adoption is, about the struggles that children face who are never adopted, and about the struggles that children face who are waiting to be adopted. Remember, in 2012 alone, approximately 400,000 children were living without permanent families. 100,000 were eligible for adoption, and 24,000 were never adopted.